And I want to pick up, Alex, with you with some of the points Olivia was making there. I don't know if you were able to hear some of that, but she was kind of explaining the differences, I suppose, between the American approach to this and the British approach at the moment. But I understand Labour is actually more supportive of the American approach, which the Tories are calling protectionist.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're advocating for, Isabel, is that we want to see Britain be a clean energy superpower. That's what the Americans are going for. They want, as always, they're looking at new markets, and this is going to be a huge new market over the next few decades, and they want to be dominant in it. And I think we should be seeking to do that as well, particularly in the clean energy space. I actually agree with some of the points made by Grant about carbon storage. That's a real opportunity. But actually today, what we've heard from the government, it's the same old press releases revived, and we were being told they're a revolution, they're anything but, particularly disappointing with an absence of onshore wind. So, the current measures just frankly don't cut it.
What do you want to do with onshore wind? I mean, apparently they're going to ramp up offshore wind, and what are you looking for?
We want to end the moratorium on it, which basically means that you can't have any at the moment. We know that not everywhere would want to have it, not everywhere would be suitable to have it. But if communities did want those things, they wanted to get the benefits of that clean energy for themselves, they should have that opportunity. That would be better for those communities, but better for all of us instead. But that moment's being wasted, I'm sad to say.
Your opposite number, Michael Gove, he would probably agree that he wants to see that, and it's something that he's struggling to get through for all those reasons that you outline. I mean, constituents have to also have their issues addressed, and this is problematic. Nobody wants to have huge wind turbines in their backyards. That presumably won't be any different under a Labour government.
I mean, I'd be quite interested to test that, Isabel, if I'm honest.
I'm sure you would.
We know that in the past. Yeah, but when the moratorium was a David Cameron era thing, so that's how long ago since we've properly had a chance to talk about this. Since then, people are loads and loads more conscious of their bills now, and of course, people over the last year or two have been under real pressure. I actually think, especially with people being more climate conscious as well, that you can have that conversation with communities and say, look, this is the benefits you'll get from that. So what we're saying is, let's let that process happen. Let's let people have that choice. You just talked, both your name talked about free markets there. So, well, okay, let's let people make that decision, because this is a very clean energy source. It's not the only answer to the problem. Of course it's not. But as part of that basket of solutions, this has got to be part of it. So, I think that's a real missed opportunity.
An opportunity for you at the local government elections, which are fast approaching. Council tax, with the cost of living crisis, it's a big burden for many people, and it has to be said. Looking around the country, council taxes are usually higher in Labour boroughs than they are in Conservative or Lib Dem boroughs. What do you plan to do about that, if anything?
No, I mean, that's not true. The average council tax in a Labour-controlled authority is over £300 less than in a Conservative one. Nevertheless, we know that up and down the country this month, we all will have had that bill drop on our mat. Council tax is a big fixed cost that we know that families really don't look forward to seeing that bill. The government, the way they funded local government, means that virtually every local authority is putting up their council tax by 5% this year. We say that given how hard people are finding things at the moment, that shouldn't be happening, and that we, if we were in government, would step in to stop that increase and fund it by properly implementing the windfall tax. We think that's a fairer way to meet current costs in this country.
We were unhappy with costs and the way life is at the moment are those working in the NHS, often those people working in social care as well. Now, if you freeze council tax, how are you going to continue to fund this hugely growing area where we have an ageing population?
Because the money going to local government won't be less, it'll just be coming from different sources. So rather than that 5% coming from the pockets of people up and down the country, it will be funded by a proper implementation of the windfall tax, particularly closing the loopholes that the big companies are using to avoid paying it, and that using that money to put that into local government. So there'll be no diminution of investment in social care, which we know is badly needed. But as I say, rather than coming from hard-pressed families, it'll be coming from companies that have made unexpected profits.
Alex, what will suffer? Something has to give somewhere to take the pressure off, homeowners to pay their council tax. So what would they be more likely to see a fall in standards with?
Well, that's not the proposition in front of you today. As I say, we know as a result of extraordinary global conditions over the last year, oil and gas producers have made huge profits they weren't expecting to make. They themselves
get all
have
that.
said
And already taxed disproportionately in that industry compared to others. And the Conservatives have now also brought in a windfall tax. So, you're going to push all of that investment elsewhere.
The problem with that, Isabel, is the windfall tax, isn't an effective one. There's too many deductions. It's set at a lower rate than comparative European countries. They should have brought it in. We would backdate it to the beginning of last year when we first called for it. It is not being used as effectively as it could be. At the end of the day, politics is a choice. Who do we think should be meeting the need for increasing costs in social care and in council services more generally? Is it hard-pressed families up and down the country, or is it big companies that have made unexpected profits? We've set out our view. You of course, may have a different one, as others who are watching may do, but people want to know as an opposition what we think and what we would do. Well, this is what we think and what we would do.